In this video, we're going to have a look at solving linear equations with an unknown variable on one side. So to solve a linear equation, we need to isolate the variable by itself on one side of the equation. We do this by doing a series of inverse operations to get rid of all the other operations that are currently on that same side. So the inverse operations are, the inverse of adding a number is subtracting it. The inverse of subtracting a number is adding it. The inverse of multiplying a number is dividing it. The inverse of dividing is multiplying. The inverse of squaring a number is square rooting it. And the inverse of square rooting is squaring a number. So if we do these, we'll be able to isolate the unknown variable by itself and determine its value and solve the linear equation. So let's have a look at some examples. So in this example, I want to solve the equation by doing the same to both sides. And the equation on itself is 5x plus 2x minus 5 is equal to 9. So the first step I want to do is simplify my original equation by adding any like terms. So my like terms are going to be 5x and 2x, and when I add them together, that's going to equal 7x. So my equation is going to be 7x minus 5 is equal to 9. So now I can start doing my inverse operations to remove what I need to remove to get x by itself. And the first one I need to remove is minus 5. So to do that, I need to do the opposite of minus 5, which is going to be the plus 5. What I do to the left-hand side, I need to do to the right-hand side. So my equation then becomes 7x is equal to 9 plus 5. Now I can do my next step, which is to continue to try and get x by itself. At the moment, I'm multiplying x by 7. So the opposite of multiplying by 7 is dividing by 7. What I do to the left-hand side, I also need to do to the right-hand side. So the equation then becomes x is equal to 14 divided by 7. So x is equal to 2. So that's an example of how we can collect like terms, simplify, and then apply my inverse operations to get my unknown variable by itself and to determine its value within a linear equation. So let's have a look at another example. In this example, I want to find the value of a when 2a plus 5 is equal to 18. So the first thing I need to do to help solve this is to simplify the left-hand side by doing a distribution. So multiplying 2 by a and 2 by 5. So 2 times a plus 2 times 5 is going to equal 18. So 2a plus 10 is going to equal 18. So now that I've simplified my original equation, I can go ahead and solve my unknown variable a. So 2a plus 10 is equal to 18. So the first step I need to do is to remove the plus 10 from the left-hand side. To do that, I do the inverse operation, which is going to be to subtract 10. What I do to the left-hand side, I need to do to the right-hand side. So 2a is going to equal to 18 minus 10. At the moment, I'm multiplying a by 2. So to do the opposite is going to be divide by 2. Again, I need to do it to both sides. So my equation becomes a is equal to 8 divided by 2. So a is equal to 4. So that is an example of how we can solve an unknown variable within a linear equation.